Welcome back to My Random Space. Today we're talking about Touch by K. Marie Smith. So back on March 25th of 2024, I asked the authors on TT to recommend books for me. I was going through a slump and I was struggling to find something that actually brought me out of it and brought me joy back to reading. K. Marie Smith was the first one to reach out to me on that post. And she asked to give her series a shot. Now her series is the Fae Senses series. As of right now, it has 3 books. Touch, Sight, and Scent. And of course, Heard and Taste are still coming out. Yes, Fae Sense, 5 senses, get it, alright? Before we get started, I do want to clarify that all the information I provide to you about the physical book is an ebook version. I pretty much don't have any physical books. I read everything on ebook. Touch is published by Flip It Books Publishing Company. It is a small publishing company, and the book itself was copyrighted in 2023. The book is available on Amazon through KU, and on Amazon right now, as far as I'm aware, it does not have an audio. It also has only 1 reading, and that is of a 3-star. The blurb that you find on Amazon is, "My name is Zara Gray. If I pronounce any of these names wrong, do not come for me. You will soon learn that I pronounce all names wrong." Anyways, my name is Zara Gray, and I am a former slave who freed herself from the trades by signing my life to the Black Shadows Guild. It wasn't an easy life, but it was way better than captivity and abuse, especially when you consider who my master was. All that was left was to pay off my dues, then I could run off to somewhere new and be free with everything. Be free from everything. I apologize. My life would be wholly mine and comfortable. After 4 years of living with the Black Shadows, learning to fight and use magic, I had been requested for a job that earned me a quiet life. Yeah, it's one of those days. But the job was risky, life-threatening, and involved the Imperial royal family. Usually I tried to keep my head down and off the radar, but this was just too good to pass up. Now I'm dealing with the youngest son of the Imperial family, dancing with creepy Fae kings, and facing my past all in one go. Maybe the money wasn't worth it. And yes, I read that off a sheet of paper so I could actually tell it to you guys. Now if you were to look this book up on Goodreads, you would see that it has 14 ratings and it averages a 4.64 star rating, and it has 12 written reviews. Now I've noticed, going back and looking at these ratings, my dumbass didn't put the ratings. I need to fix that, like, immediately. But the blurb you can find on Goodreads is the one that you can actually find from the back of the book. The world I grew up in was not for the faint of heart. As much as I'd like to say it was hard work and determination that got me through it all, in hindsight, I believe only the luckiest survive the kind of crap I've been through. All that I've had to endure has forged my body and trained me to fight and never give up. My reward for all those efforts was getting myself in a position in the Mercenary Guild. I'm not saying everyone in there are all lions with hearts of gold, but they're not a bad group of people. I could have fallen into a worse crowd by far. My early life has certainly been a rocky road, but it was one still worth living once I got into a good groove. A real treat after the hardcore crap I had to go through to get to this point. But as fate would have it, my hard-earned world and lifestyle came to a crashing halt in a blaze of politics, fine silks, and a handsome face, and lots and lots of fakes. There is more, but I'm not going to go reading it for you. If you want to read it, you can read the back of the book yourself, or just read the book yourself. But something else you should be made aware of is that Touch is 240 pages in length, roughly, and it does come with a trigger warning page. And I highly, highly suggest you read it. K. Marie Smith put this out on her, put this out for everybody to read. The book is a demonstration of my own non-combat PTSD from my past, exes, and childhood, which all accumulated into the creation of our first book's antagonist. There are topics of domestic violence, coercive sex, psychosis manifestation, PTSD triggers, and how someone processes those events. If those topics are ones you cannot get behind, the author totally gets it. She says it took her a long time to write about it. No book or story is worth anyone's mental health. Read it with caution. Signed, K. Marie Smith. And I highly, highly recommend you take her up on it. So from here on out, I'm going to give you kind of what the book is about, and of course my little 2 cents along the way. So this book, Touch, starts out with us getting to know that Zira, who is the main female character, is not a morning person, but can be successfully bribed with coffee and good food. Honestly, your first chapter is your hook. The whole chapter is absolutely amazing. We learn a little bit about Zira's personality, and trust me, that personality, the first chapter doesn't even hold candle to it, okay? It's a whole nother thing. Also learn what she does, who she works for, the Black Shadows Guild. We learn that the master of the guild is Trenton, and his son Tristan are the closest thing she has to family, and they are very important to her. Throughout the story, you really see how much in depth she cares for these two characters. Throughout the story, we also get flashbacks. Zira has them throughout the whole story, and you learn what triggers them, you learn how she handles them, the whole nine. But the great thing about these flashbacks is not only that, you know, we're already told that she had a shitty past, we actually get to experience it. And honestly, Garl is strong for surviving. Yeah. Anyways, in the first chapter, she is given a contract from the master, which has her going to deal with the royals, and she don't like dealing with them. Her past is evident in that. But she eventually is convinced to go do it, and she does. The part that I like in this little tidbit from the author is that she was spying on the youngest of the family. He's the Duke. His name is Theory. Don't come after me. I'm just gonna call him the Duke. But he's the youngest in the family, and she's been spying on him for weeks. So when she finally does make an appearance, granted she's glamored, but when she finally does make an appearance, he immediately recognizes that she doesn't belong and doesn't look like her outward appearance. So he catches her, you know, in the act of what she's supposed to be doing, and is immensely shocked, like flabbergasted, that she's been spying on him for weeks and he had no idea. Well, why these two are talking, because, you know, they got caught and she's just trying to figure out a way to escape. Some bad happens. No, I'm not going to tell you what the bad is. You have to read the book to figure it out. But bad happens, and Zira is forced to save the Duke's life. Now, granted, she does this, but knows, I don't know how she does, but she knows that she's going to end up with a target on her back. And unfortunately, she does. They both end up back at the guild, and the two of them, plus the master and his son Tristan, they get to talking. Whole lot of information comes out, and I do mean a lot, and it kind of explains why they were after the Duke, but you're also getting a lot of information about Zira in the process. But once all this information comes out, Zira has two choices. One is to stay at the guild and hope everything just blows over. And two is to go to this place called the Wild Door and hope she gets answers. Do you know which option she picks? If you guess that she goes to the Wild Door, you are absolutely correct. She leaves the guild, leaves everybody behind, goes to the Wild Door. But of course, the Duke catches up with her. More bad happens, and of course, no, I'm not telling you. You have to read the book. And then eventually they cross over the threshold of the Wild Door. Once they're into the Fey realm, more things happen. More information is given. Something fun happens. And then they make their way to Cinder Gallows. It's the capital of the Summer Court. Once they arrive at the Summer Court, there is a party going on, and from what I gather, this is not an uncommon occurrence. But of course, those two have to attend, and the entire time the Duke is giving Zira pointers, telling her the rules that she has to follow, and just talking. Zira complains quite loudly about the rules, and I don't blame her. Honestly, they are ridiculous, and I love the fact that the author put them in the book. Absolutely brilliant on the author's part. The two arrive at the party, eventually make their way up to the royals, the Fey royals, and the Duke introduces Zira. She gets introduced to King Oberon, again, don't come for me for names, Queen Mab, and Queen Titania. We're gonna call her Queen T because I ain't pronouncing that again. All three of these Fey royals will play a part in Zira's life. Some will be small, some will be large, some will be the bad guy, some will be the good guy, this way or that way. You'll have to read the book to find out. And honestly, I was kind of shocked. If you're not, then, you know, you guessed it, but honestly, the way these all played out was a shock to me. So during the day and night, I apologize that this party is going on. Zira gets to hang out with the Duke, gets to learn more about him. She meets the Fey royals. She dances with the king, and she even gets kidnapped. All in one night. Girl lives an exciting life, okay? Anyways, when she finally wakes up, she finds herself chained to a dungeon wall, facing her two kidnappers. Now, her one kidnapper is a very vocal man and doesn't mind answering her questions. You find out about him, the trades, who he's working for. You even find out a little information about Zira from this man. Honestly, I was kind of shocked. Shouldn't have been, but, you know, it is what it is. But then, you know, there's all this back and forth between the two kidnappers and herself and blah, blah, blah. And eventually, somehow, Zira ends up making a deal. A Fey deal. This Fey deal is that she has to fight the champion of the Summer Court. And I'm sure right there and then gave it away on who one of her kidnappers is. If you've guessed who both of them are, don't give any spoilers. But if you have not, read it. Trust me. It's, at least one of them is quite surprising. So I won't tell you what happens from that point on. I will tell you that Zira, the Duke, and the champion, which his name is Ash, that's important to remember, all leave the arena in one form or another alive. I will also tell you that on their way back to their realm, lots of things happen. lots. Some are specifically for Zero, and some are between Zero and the Duke. Let's just say they're both very happy. Okay? I will also tell you that once they cross into the threshold, they go back to the guild and they work with the Master and Tristan on a plan that they've come up with to end things. While I'm sure you wish to know what happens next, I'm not going to tell you. There's no point in destroying the rest of the book for you. This is where I'll stop, and this is where you have to go finish reading. Pick it up, read it. Now for me, I rated this book 3. Yes, I know a lot of you are going to come after me once you hear why I rated it a 3, but this is a personal opinion. Remember, reading is subjective. So what one person likes, another won't. Okay? So let's keep that in mind. For me, I felt like this book had way too much description. Like everything was over-described, over-dramatized. It was just so much that it literally felt like it was eclipsing the storyline. Yes, I am well aware. World building is a necessity, and it's very important, especially in books that are going to be series, like this one. But my personal opinion is a lot of it could have been shrunk or left out. Like I said, it's an amazing story. It really is. But for me, I felt like I was spending more time reading descriptions than I was reading the actual storyline. I honestly skimmed a lot of the descriptions because I didn't need to know all of that detail. I just didn't. The storyline in this book was absolutely phenomenal, which is probably why I skimmed all the over-descript and the character descriptions, because I just wanted to get to the story that brought this book to life. Yes, for me, this book was a 3. But honestly, I can understand why this book was a 5 for a lot of people. While it was good for me, others are going to love it. I can say that I definitely enjoy this series. And I think if you like what you heard, you would enjoy it as well. So have you read this book yet? What are your thoughts? If you haven't, do you think you will? Now remember, no nasty or hate comments, please. We don't need it. Remember, reading is subjective. But I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I'll see you next time for episode 2. Later, y'all.